Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now last time we spent a lot of time unlocking all of the great architectural pieces so we can start building some more interesting designs in this game. We are of course playing Satisfactory Plus, which means things are a little different than normal Satisfactory. But today we're going to start the setup for our next mini factory space here. So the space in front of us you see is where we're going to put our molten metals for iron production. That means gathering up a whole bunch of Stiratite, and we're going to need some water as well. So in today's episode, we're just doing the first half of this. We're going to go ahead and set up miners for every single Stiratite node in the southern grasslands, and then after that, we're going to set up a pumping station for water from the waterfalls all the way back to this location. And that way we have all of the ingredients we need to start producing molten iron, and then use that molten iron to produce a variety of other products. Iron ingots, iron rods, iron plates, and so forth. So let's get started. So over here in the grasslands is some of the largest concentration of Stiratite that we're going to find on this map. Right here you can see there is just a ton of nodes right here, 8 just in this section alone. Now once we start going a little further afield, we'll find even more of those, but this is going to give us a wonderful, wonderful starting point. Now we're going to run our power main again back off of our factories here just for simplicity's sake. Just hook this up right on this edge here, like so. And then start running it down to all of our various nodes. Now, I think I'd already cleared out most of the local monsters from this area, although I think there are a few over by those other nodes. So right now, these we can just start breaking up and taking the rocks off the top. Like so. And start collecting these nodes with our miners. Now, we're going to be doing a lot of miners, so maybe it's worthwhile to start actually adding some of these to the hotbar, just to make it a little faster for us here. So let's make this 1, and we'll make this 2. We'll make our power poles, we'll make that 3, power lines 4, and then of course our logistics, let's do 5 for our Mark II belts, and our lifts will be 6. Okay, that will do for now. So we're not going to worry so much about laying these out perfectly right now. We just want to get them down. We're not going to align them to the grid or anything. Now we have unlocked the floating gas module to increase efficiency, but we're not going to hook those up just yet. It's just something we're going to do in the near future, but right now I think we're going to get more than enough iron off of these just as they are. Now, it's saying missing module because we forgot the mining head, which goes there and there. And then with that, this should get us, let's see here, an impure node, 30 per minute off that one. And this one is probably also impure, so 30 per minute off of this one as well at this efficiency. Let's go ahead and connect up another power pole. And we're just going to run this in this general direction because this is going to go both up and down for these. Okay, and here's these 4 nodes now cleared. So let's go ahead and do the same thing again. We're going to plunk down our miner. Put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there. And then each of them gets a mining head as well. Perfect. Then we just run our power back again. 1 pole for every 2 miners. Put this here, same thing. There we go, and everybody should have power. Now, I think these are normal nodes, is that correct? Oh no, these are impure again. So this is still only going to give us 30 each. So we can get all 4 of these onto a single Mark II belt, which is perfect. So I think we'll do it right here. And we'll actually use some foundations for this. Let's hold that there. We don't need to use foundations here, but I think it'll just help us get this a little cleaner as we set everything up. and start merging all of these various lines from all of these various pieces. I think it's just going to save us some headaches in the long run. So let's do this about to there until we get to that rock. And then we're going to go ahead and start setting up our lines here. So probably just going to need one to start. Now let's go check these nodes up top. Right, so 2 nodes here, and these are also impure. So what this means, all said and done, is we're going to have 2 120 belts that we're going to run, 2 marked tier belts back down that way. Perfect. Go ahead and drop our miners down again. And facing out this time, like so. Perfect. And now we just need to run our main power line back up this way. There we go. And then the only thing these are missing then are, of course, our mining heads again. So let's go ahead and add our mining heads. Perfect. Everything is up and online. Now we just need to connect our logistics. So as I said, Mark II belts, we're going to run these as far down as we can here. 7 foundations, there we go, and as far down here. Right to this edge. Is that straight? Looks basically straight. So our mergers are mostly laid out now. It's time to add the second tier up here for these. So we grab our stackable conveyor poles, and we do this again. Whoop, that's not what we wanted. Here we go. Put this in right here from this side. That rock is a little bit in the way. And we stack these here. Perfect. And then we just need to line those miners up with this and start merging those in too. So we'll do one right here at this edge and one just a few ticks down, like so. And now we'll connect these up. Now I'm going to use Mark II belts for these, even though that's massive overkill for what we're producing. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I am going to upgrade these as quickly as I can, as soon as my resources permit. So we may as well go ahead and use Mark II belts to start. And that'll work just like that. Now these two I still need to connect up. So we'll drag this conveyor pole down, again, just past where that one starts. So basically, let's say here. And run our belt this way into that. And set up our mergers for these as well, which actually we can double up on mergers, right? There's no reason that we have to do 1-to-1 here. So let's go ahead and run Mark II belts out of that all the way. Oops, is that going the wrong way? No, that's going the right way. Just raise that up a little and into there. Same thing here. Raise it up a little, right into there. And then we're going to take these off of this edge and up here. So Mark II to right about here. Raise it up a little so it doesn't clip through the rock too badly. Does that look okay? It looks okay. Same thing here. Good. And I'm okay if our conveyor belts clip a little through the rock. That doesn't really worry me. I guess I could just run these without conveyor belts. They'll drop down just fine, but I don't know. It looks a little nicer when you do it this way. And then those just have to go right in there, and this one right in here. So now we have an additional 240 Stiratite just off of those nodes that we just did. Okay, so it looks like we have a couple of other nodes down here in the grassland that we could indeed check out. That's a little further away over there. I think it's towards where we have our coal. We're going to start with the 240 we have here and add this to our existing logistics setup. So besides a large amount of iron, the other thing that we're going to need is a whole lot of water for cooling the iron into ingots. Now luckily there's a very ready source of water right here at the far edge of the map, this massive lake over here. So I've run a sky bridge all the way back to our facility, and I'm going to start producing water from this area here. So getting the water back can be a little bit of a challenge, but stacking two pipeline supports next to each other, we can continue to build up and still have free passage back and forth along our little platform here. So this is probably the pattern I'm going to use to get the water all the way back this way. Now it does take forever to lay all of these out, so I am just going to kind of fast forward through this bit because it is not the exciting bit, but just know that I'm running pipes all the way down the length of our map here basically, which is a very, very long way indeed, all the way across here. Okay, so getting water extractors to line up properly can be a bit of a pain. Now, ordinarily, if you have deeper water, you can place a foundation at the bottom and place them on top of that foundation to perfectly align them, but I just kind of slid this one manually into place here between these foundations so that it aligns right here to the middle of this foundation. Don't know why my graphics are glitching out right now, but yes, that is as blurry as it looks. So I actually need 5 of these to fill up a single pipe. So let's go ahead and place that there and put 2 more of these down like so, there. And that'll give us our 300 per minute to fill a pipe. Great. Now we want to connect all of these up to these pipes that we have here, but we're a little off center from where we should be for those. So I might tinker with this design just a little bit here. Maybe we remove some of this, maybe we put a door in here. Let's play with that for a second. Now, there's a couple aesthetic things that I think are going to look really good here. One is using the water, which gives us a nice texture, with these grates, floor grates, wall grates, whatever we have. I think that's going to make for a nice contrast. The other thing I like is to use organic shapes with water. So using these half pipes and overlaying on top of each other, you kind of get this interesting dramatic archway effect, which I think goes really nicely here. And we can lay these out pretty smoothly by just putting them against these walkways and rotating them until they sit about where we want them to sit like that. Now, we're going to get some Z-index fighting, so I will want to go back and clean that up at some point in the future, but for now, I think that looks pretty nice overall as sort of a little decorative element here. And I can keep repeating this pattern all the way down the length of this facility. Now, I'll probably do 5 on each side, at least, of these water extractors, just for some nice symmetry here. And that'll give me 2 full 300 pipes here. And then, of course, I can always expand out and over as much as I want to add to this main stretch in the future. I can also upgrade my pipes, which will, of course, dramatically increase my throughput and the amount of water that I can move as well. So this will work nicely. We'll get a nice little symmetry off of this. If I can get these to align just right. Like so. So I'll just keep repeating this pattern all the way down here. Now for our entryway, we're then going to want to do something a little different. I don't know that I love having the catwalk crossing out here sitting in front, so I might go ahead and move over my wall halfway down this area. And we can really easily do that by taking just any foundation here, sticking it down like so. And then we just plonk down a wall to build off of here. So we'll take a basic concrete wall. I think that'll look pretty nice. And we'll just slide that down into place like so. Maybe for right now, we just go with the basic wall, our normal centered door wall. For concrete there, and then maybe we put in our grating in between the wall pieces. Do they have a half wall? That would be interesting. Let's see here. Metal grating 8x8, metal wall 4x4. Ooh. So they do have half width walls, which we can intersperse with these panels. But I really want that in a wire fence. Ah, here we go. How about you? Ah, that's kind of nice. That looks cool. It's not the same as our metal grating, but as a fence piece, that's kind of cool. Yeah, those are all just fences. So yeah, what I really want is a smaller metal grating wall. I think that would look best. So the other way that I can get at that, if it doesn't clip too badly, is to stick it right down next to this wall. And then, yeah, that piece will just stick out from it. I think that could work. Let's take a look. Something like that. It has potential. I don't love it, but we're getting there. I think we're definitely getting there. So once you come into the facility, there'll be a narrow hallway then that you can walk down here and get access to these water extractors. Now, I think how I want to do the water extractors here is to use these wire fences again. I think doing this all the way down like so could look neat. But not use these for the whole thing, right? We're just going to use this for the bottom piece. I think on top of that, we want to do maybe standard fix-it walls like so. Or something similar. Maybe concrete walls? Maybe those would look better. But I think something with a little texture makes this look neat. Now, all we have to do is connect those up to our pipe logistics here. So I think we want to put these higher up in the wall because that'll look a little bit better. Although the wall holes are off-center from the actual lines on the wall. And that's going to drive me a little batty, but I think we can live with it. We'll just make it work. Okay, and now we can run our pipe logistics along that. We also are going to have to connect up our power to all of this. So I think the way that we do that is with our standard pattern here. We're going to use our wall connectors. We'll do an inside to outside one here. Oh, those look awful. What did they do to the basic walls? Those textures are all squished. Oof. Okay, well, again, things to sort out later. For right now, we're going to put a double wall outlet right over top of the door, just like that. And then we're also going to put a double wall outlet right beneath each of these pipes as well. Oh, I really wish those were just a hair off. Ugh. That's really, really not fun. I don't love that. In fact, that might be a deal breaker for all of this. If I can't get everything to line up at least somewhat nicely, I just don't think I'll bother. Let's move all of those up one. Yeah, I think inverting it looks a lot better, actually. Putting the power line above. And then also, if water bursts out for any reason, that means it's not going to drip down onto the power line. This I think, logistically makes a lot more sense and works a lot better. So we'll go ahead and connect all of the rest of these up with that same pattern. And that just means, oof, I might fall into the water a little bit. Okay, there's our basic pipes laid out. And now all that we have to do is connect everything up now to our various junctions, like so. That'll work there. Okay, and there we have the entire side of our extractors set up. Now what we're going to want to do next is decorate this a little bit and figure out what the shape of it's going to be, and then finish out and reflect that whole design over onto the opposite side over here so that we have two full pipes of 300. Now, we'll go ahead and pull that out here. We'll pull this out here. And we are using the indicator pipes on these at the connector point so that we can see that water is flowing. The rest of these I'm using no indicator pipelines because quite frankly I don't really need that animation. I just want to be able to look at a point where we're going to input or output and know that things are working properly instead of having to load all of that animation all the way down that long corridor. Now just encasing these in metal grates does not look the best, so that's definitely not what we want to do here. But having some metal grate walkways could look cool. I think I also want to do some ramps going down here a little bit so that it goes closer to the water level so that we're not wasting all of this extra space that we have here. But 4 meters takes us actually into the water and we don't want to be splashing through puddles here. So I guess we're going to go down about 2 meters with that. Maybe with a little 2-meter ramp or something. That could potentially work. So having got our water extractors all set up here, I was looking for a way to decorate this up. Now, originally I had used concrete on top of this to make some half pipes. And I thought that looked okay. But then I came back and I redid it here a little bit. And I'm using these outer corner extensions that I've rotated on their side with micromanage instead, and just slapped a sign on the end. And I think this looks a lot more interesting. You can still see the water extractors poking out the top of it, but from an overall architecture standpoint, I think that looks a little bit neater, a little bit more coherent. I still want to go back and redo these concrete roofs a little bit, but I think this is the general direction I want to be going with this build. Now, of course, the next thing to do here is to finish out the other side of this so we have another 300 pipe that we can then run all the way back to our main base. So I kind of eyeballed this one into place for our first in the row. To put the rest in, we just use control clicking so they aligned very nicely with each other. Now, I've already laid out my destination pipe mergers here with our junction crosses. So now I'm just going to take my Pipeline Mark 1, no indicator, do horizontal to vertical, and plunk these into place. Only we don't want to do it that way. That looks a little weird. We want it to run above instead, and the reason why we want that to happen is because that'll give us a little walkway underneath. Now, I'm not going to bother with wall holes here. They look nice, but we don't really need them for this build out. And quite frankly, trying to get them to align to these junctions is kind of a little bit of a pain because they get a little fiddly. So we're just going to do this manually instead and run these all the way down here. Now, of course, I'm using my floor grading down here, and I'm going to continue that with these wire fences right next to it here. And then down below here, I'm going to use our basic walls. I think these look awfully nice. And we're just gonna zoop these into place all the way down this way. Not that too high. There we go. Perfect. All right, and that gives us a nice little hallway. Now all we have to do is repeat this ensconcement we did with the 4-meter foundations on the other side here. Now here we've got some Z fighting in these various half pipes, and so to fix that, again, we just hop into micromanage and we take the offending one and drop it down by a tiny increment, and that goes away instantly. So we want to enclose our water extractors in these foundations again, and we want them in the grip foundations, but I want those to be a 1/4 block over. I think that's going to look a little bit nicer. Now we also need for that to go up about 2 meters higher, maybe 3 meters higher than where it is right now, because we want this to align nicely with this other top edge here, which you can see is 2 meters higher. So to get that effect, all we do is we put another 2 meter on top of here, and then we use a 4 meter sinking into the ground. Whoops, that's the wrong one. There we go. And we line that up with the top of this one, like so. Then all we do is we remove these again, and we put this back into place, again facing out. And after we know that it's aligned in the right direction, which you can tell because this U shape is on the outside edge, then we go back and we apply our grip metal to it. I think the 8 meter double ramp looks the best here, so we put that into place like that, and there we go. And then we just repeat with the other side here. Again, we're using our half foundations, make sure the U shape is out, flip those into place again, like so. And just to finish that, we are going to encase the back with a foundation as well. Right, like that. And then we just apply grip metal to all of these. Like that. Now I am seeing that these are a little further back than the other ones, so to correct that, we can do it very quickly and easily. All we do is we grab all of these with micromanage, so we control click these like so. So we've got 5 of them, and now we just change our increment to large, and we're just going to move these up until that sinks into the wall perfectly, and that lines up on that edge. So there we go. Maybe just a little more? How's that? That looks about right. Now, in between these edges, we're just going to use our Structural Solutions 4x4 wire fence, which gives us this nice little looking fence area that I think works pretty well. The only trick to that is we want to go grab all 4 of these and pull them out from the wall just a hair so that they don't clip like we're seeing right there. So let's change our increment to tiny. And again, we just want to bring this out just a little so that it sticks out of the wall. And there we go. Nice and perfect and neat. Now we, of course, frame it in with our foundations on the roof here, like so. And it looks like almost far enough. There we go. And then all we do is we plunk down our outer corner extensions and we run them the length. So again, real easy to do here. All we do is we put this down here, right on the edge of it, like so. We're going to change our build mode to vertical and go up about 10. That's about as far as we can go with this. Cannot, as far as I know, use our smart mod to build a lot of these, unfortunately. And then we just grab all 10 of these. Like that. And change our increment once again to huge. And then we just rotate them into place. So a couple of clicks there, and we have them lined up, rotated, and just have to slide them into place. Whoops, that was the wrong way. Just like that. Now, we want these to be lined up with each other, so let's bring it back just a little. And then we want this edge to be centered with that top bit of the water extractor. So that means we need to use a smaller increment to nudge it into place. So we go back to medium. That's going to pull it over just a little bit. That looks about right. Just double check. Yeah, that looks good. And now that these are on their side, we can zoop in the horizontal direction with them pretty easily. So it still says vertical, but we're going to pretend. Come on. Sometimes you have to take the one off the edge for this to work, because it thinks it is running into something that's already there. There you go. See, like that? Now we can take it vertically, and we go up with our mouse cursor, even though it's going along this way. So if you go along sideways, it's not taking the indicator from the gesture that it needs to go further up and down. So instead we look straight up, and when we look straight up, it knows that it needs to build in that direction. Although for some reason this one is conflicting. Oh, because it's going down, because that's the opposite up of where we think up is. So there we go. Do it that direction, no conflict, no problem. And just repeat that one more time here. Out to the wall. I think I came a little short. Yeah, half a foundation short there. And then we repeat it the opposite direction again. Perfect. And that'll line up nicely. So the only thing left to do here is to grab our sign. We're going to copy the settings first, copy that square sign, and put it in the same place here as where we're going to want it. I think we put it right here on this edge, like so. And the easiest way to move that into place then, because again, these are sideways, they're not the direction that we think they are, is to just nudge it again with micromanage until it's right in the spot that we want. Go up to huge again, and we're going to rotate it once, and then we just bring it down and over. Is that about right? That's pretty close. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. And it looks like it's just off a little, so we just need a little tiny increment here of moving it back out. And there we go. That looks looks about centered. Okay, so we'll try this with the glass walls that come with structural solutions first. This could look good, it could look bad. I don't really know what's going to happen. Let's see, what are we going to put on top of that though? Do we want a glass roof, I think, with it? A framed roof, maybe? Maybe a glass framed roof. There we go. That looks a little industrial. Glass frame, 2-meter ramp. That's what we want. That's what we want. There. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So let's just fill the rest of this in real quick. Okay, so we really need to get billboards, and the best way to do that at this point, given how long we've already been waiting and we still can't find those missing tickets, is to cheat. So yes, we are cheating. Why are we cheating? Because I'm just not that patient anymore, and I really want these billboards, but I also went ahead and added really simple signs. So we're going to go ahead and unlock everything in really simple signs as well. Now, I would feel marginally bad about this if it weren't for the fact that I've already played through this game a million times, and really at this point we're just talking about wasting time for these things to slowly get unlocked, and that's not great. So we're just gonna go ahead and unlock everything right now as far as the signs and billboards go. Perfect. Now surprisingly, you don't actually need diamonds for these signs, you just need a whole bunch of quartz and glass, so actually not even a whole lot. Basically the same as the smaller versions. No crystal oscillators, no nothing, so that's kind of cool. Okay, and there we have our finished water plant. So all of our water production now will be coming from there and into these tubes all the way back down to our smelteries we're setting up over here. So this looks pretty good. I've put up some RSS signs that gives me that nice big typography that I love, but without being an overpoweringly large billboard on top of the building, because I wanted to keep most of the roof pretty clean. I did go back and add more glass to the roof. I think that the effect works really nicely here to have these angled roofs matching up with the actual steel roofs. I really like how that finish came out. Now, on the inside, those glass roofs are still peaked up inside for the main chamber that runs down the middle where our water is coming out. I've added in a couple of concrete pillars here for decoration on the sides a bit. But mainly, I have these glass roofs here now that I feel like gives it a little bit more sense of airiness all along where we're actually doing our pumping. And that with the gratings on the bottom, I think make for a nice combination. And then pillars again on this side. The back end actually sticks out a little bit further just because of how things tend to align here. Oop, and that's something I'm going to want to fix, right? Grab those real quick, and we're just going to bring these out just a little. Always be looking for your, whoops, that's too much, your misalignments there so that you can bring things together and fix some of that glitching. And we have another one here where we've got that fighting. So there we go. Perfect. Nice and smooth. I've run this fence line all the way around the back here and all the way around the side and put those same lights on it using the small signs, the half-meter signs. Of course, the beam connectors go on top to give it that sort of deliberate look of a perimeter fence. And these are, of course, again, just the wire fences from the Structural Solutions. So that works all the way around very nicely. I've integrated our power poles into those actual beams themselves. I do think this makes it look like a nice sort of municipal outbuilding, which is kind of the feel I was going for. This works pretty well, I think, overall for a design. Now, I also really like this building from a distance. The low profile, I think, works really well, and it blends in nicely with the edge here, and it fits really nicely with our hydroelectric generators here. Now, I might continue to expand this out. It's modular in design, so we can keep growing in both directions. We just will have to run more pipes, and those can connect back up to our main pipeline here, and I've made myself plenty of space to continue to expand these. I can stack them vertically and horizontally up to 4 across and as many high as I would like to go. So this could become our main water generation for this entire biome if we wanted, running all the way across this ridgeline. And that could look super, super, super cool. It is, however, a whole lot of work to do that, so not going to happen this episode. But with this build project wrapped up, I do think this is a good place to stop this episode. Thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!